Welcome back to the Workbench After Hours podcast. My name is Keith, and I'm your host. This is where we talk about the firearms community, shop talk, and everyday life experiences. Welcome back to the Workbench After Hours podcast. We have Chris with us today. Hunter couldn't make it, but we're going to go ahead and keep shooting this for you guys so we can stick to that upload every Friday for you. So we have some cool topics today, but first thing we got to do is obviously, what did we do in guns this week? Chris, I'll let you, if you did anything.
The only thing that I really did was I bought a safe, finally.
Nice. About time.
Yeah, I bought a Canon. It was a Force Edition 24 gun safe. Now I just got to wait for it to get here because they're like, oh, it won't be here till the end of March because they didn't have any in stock.
Yeah, that's one bad thing. Especially around here, there's not a lot of places that sell safes. And if they do sell them, they are on the floor, but they don't have them in stock.
Yeah, they're always on back order.
Yeah, I know, because we have a Cabela's here, and they have they carry Liberty, but they also have their own version of Liberty safes.
Yeah.
And when I was looking at buying my gun safes, I checked them out up there, and they wanted the prices are decent, but it's like 6 to 8 weeks for delivery, just because it gets, I guess, comes from the manufacturer or their warehouse or whatever, and it's like, man, I don't want to wait that long for a safe.
Yeah, I'm like itching. I'm sitting already going, all right, what do I want to get? What accessories do I want to get? So I've been looking at lighting systems, and I saw your safe. You showed me the rods with the Velcro. Mm-hmm. And I'm probably going to do that for my safe.
Yeah. Yeah. And so the one topic that we're going to talk about, so we just jump into it, is buying a gun safe. So if you have obviously a gun collection, you definitely want to have your stuff in a safe, just because, one, protect it from, burglars or house gets broken into, but also, just for, if there's ever a fire or anything, your stuff's protected. And not only do I, store guns in mine, but I have any special documents, important documents, like our birth certificates,
wedding
passports, weddings, stuff like that. So I keep all of our important stuff, like photos that can't be replaced.
Yeah.
I keep in there as well. And if we print them off, cool. But I keep everything on a memory card, stick it in there just in case as a backup. So that's you really.
It's more than just a gun safe, really.
Right, exactly.
It's like valuables, yes, your guns, and then whatever else you want to put in there that you think you might want to memories and things like that.
Yeah, and obviously you want to stick to your budget. So, look at a gun safe in your budget, but you also have to think about, and I learned this the hard way the first time, is it'll say it's a 20 gun safe. It's really not going to hold 20 guns.
No.
It's because it doesn't take into consideration, a lot of the guns, if you have long guns, or probably have a scope on them, and just the size difference. It's probably about half of what it says, probably. But so you want to, if you can afford it, spend a little bit of extra money and get a little bit bigger safe than you think you need, because let's be honest, you're probably going to keep buying guns.
Yeah.
And the worst thing is running out of space in your gun safe and then having to reinvest in a new gun safe.
Yeah, that, and I know we talked about this quite a bit, what size, and then I went and looked at abundance of different safes, and there's some that are oh, this is a 54 gun safe, and you open it up, and the door actually has 10 slots for handguns. I was like, this ain't really what it says it is, because the door right there is 10 guns. Mm-hmm. I'm I don't know. I wish they would do a little bit better on telling you what the capacity actually is.
Yeah, in realistic terms.
Yeah.
Yeah, but the cool thing about those, I think they're called rifle rods. I can't remember the name, but there are these rods that you could take out that shelf where you're supposed to lay your long guns in with the slots, because if you use that, it's fine, but if you have guns stored in the back, to get to those, you have to move out all the guns in the front, and then you run into scratching or whatever your guns as you're trying to get out the gun you want that's in the back. Well, these rifle rods, you take that shelf out, and then you just staple Velcro to the bottom of the top shelf in there, and they fit in there way way easier. You put that rod down the barrel, and then it velcros to the top and just stands up straight.
Yeah, and I also saw where you could put like labels on them too to say like, this is my 6.5, my AR-15, this is this, and it's like,
yeah. And if you lay it out right, usually in order to get to a gun in the back, then you just have to remove whatever gun's in front of that, pull it out, and it's so much easier. I actually did it in both states I have, just because it's.
Yeah, I was looking at those and I was like, man, that's so nice. And then some of the accessories I got these days, like they had over-unders for handguns. If you really didn't want to use the door panel, you could put, what one guy did, he had his silencers too, and it was taking up his whole top row was just handguns and silencers. And he did this system, and he had like the handgun and the silencer on above it. And I was like, man, that is so sweet, clean looking. Oh my gosh, well organized.
Yeah. And you definitely, no matter where you're going to store it, you want some sort of humidity control. So if you have a lot of them come with a kind of a hole drilled in the back in the bottom for an outlet. So you buy an outlet that you put in back there, and that allows you to run it, to an outlet outside in your wall. And then that way you have a powered outlet inside the safe. And then what I have is I have a dry rod that I plug in, and it puts off a little bit of heat. It gets kind of hot, but it just kind of keeps the humidity level low in there, because especially if you have it out in the garage, you have that constant temperature change. And if you get too much humidity in there, your guns could potentially rust, especially if you don't have because I usually store them with a light coat of gun oil just to prevent that. So if you don't do that, you definitely want some sort of dry rod or those what are they?
Like silicone dry.
Yeah. Yeah, those things.
Yeah.
Whatever they are. Kind of what you would.
Dehumidifier packs, I think.
Yeah, kind of what you would put in a cigar box.
Yeah.
They have those as well. You just have to
make sure you're doing maintenance on it and checking on
it. Right.
So that's one I was looking at the electric dehumidifying rod just for that reason, because I don't want to sit there and like, oh, I forgot, like 6 months down the road, crap, I need more packs or gel to refill it. So.
All right, so we had to stop there for a second because we had some technical difficulties. I don't know if I'll have to go back and see, but on my screen it showed that we were frozen. I don't know if we were or not, but so I think we got everything fixed. But so yeah, going back to gun safes, and we were talking about the dry rods and stuff like that. But yeah, there's so many accessories that you can get, and
it's endless pretty much.
Yeah, but what you really want to do is obviously get a gun safe that you can live with and can grow into, but also pay attention to the fire rating, because that's really going to tell you, on a cheaper safe, it's going to have a lower fire rating versus a more expensive one is going to have thicker steel. It'll have that extra drywall in there. And all that. Yeah, and just hold up better, because once everything in the houses these days are made of particle board, and everything like that. So they go up in flames like crazy. So you definitely want to get something with a higher fire rating, especially if you're going to be keeping a lot of valuable items in there. And the cool thing with Liberty safes is if it is destroyed in a fire, they replace it for free.
Yeah, I made sure I looked at their warranty for Canon. It's the same thing. I was like, okay.
That's awesome. Yeah, the good thing is these safe manufacturers really do stand by their product.
Yeah.
And but yeah, and what's the other thing I was going to say? Oh, and the other thing that you want to pay attention to is the rods that actually lock the door. Some of them have round diameter steel rods that lock it. Others will just have
like a flat steel almost.
Yeah, and then the number of rods too. Yeah. Some of them will have like just one on the top and bottom, maybe one or two on the sides. I think the ones I have, it has one on the top, one on the bottom, but it has like 3 or 4 on each side of the door.
Yeah.
So that definitely helps protect in somebody trying to pry it open or anything like that. The little details, do make the safes become more expensive, but it's a good investment to protect your valuables.
Yeah, that, and once I get this, now I'm eligible to get whatever gun I want now.
Heck yeah. Yep. Now we can start filling that guy back up. Yep. But yeah, and then just make sure you place it somewhere in your house where you want to. Mine's in my garage. Yours is going in your basement.
Yep.
And what I do recommend if you do put it in your garage is I set mine on the stall mats. They're like about an inch and a half thick, just rubber. And it's basically, I got it from a equestrian store.
Yeah.
However you say it. It's basically a local farm and home store. And it's really meant for, like horse stalls. Yeah. But it kind of protects the bottom of the safe because if you just put it on concrete, there's a chance it could rust or anything like that.
Yeah.
But this just provides a nice thick something for it to sit on because that is a lot of weight. That safe sitting on there. So if you do put it in the garage, looking to get one of those, if you can find one in your area, they come pretty large and they're heavy and they stink. But you can cut it down. The guys who delivered my safe actually cut it down with a box knife. It took them a little while, but they were able to do it to where they could put both safes side by side on that stall mat. So it's a cool thing. And then you also have the option to drill it into your floor to anchor it down. Yeah. You can get anchors with them and drill it into your concrete floor or your wood floor, whatever you want to do. Mine weighs so much, I didn't bother with that.
Yeah. If you can pick up a safe that weighs 400 pounds, then you shouldn't be robbing things is the way I look at it.
Well, yeah, it's like if they're going to be able to move these giant safes I have from the back of my garage out, at that point, more power to you.
Yeah. Mine's going downstairs too. So imagine going upstairs and then out. Like, good luck.
Yeah. Yeah. So it's just things to think about.
Yeah.
Placement, they do take up a lot of room. So that you can store them in your garage. I've had mine in my garage for years, and I have the dry rot in there, and it keeps everything fine. I don't have any issues with any rusting or anything like that. The documents are fine. I have a little monitor that tells me what the inside temperature is and humidity plus the outside, and the humidity stays constant on the inside, which is really awesome. It could be like 20 degrees in the garage, but the humidity level is the same, and so it's
protect those guns.
You got to protect those guns. Yeah. There's nothing worse than pulling out a gun and seeing rust on it.
Yeah. Like, I'd be bummed.
Yeah. And then you got to sit there and clean it. And luckily, most of the time it's surface rust. So it's easy to clean. Because a lot of times if you use the gun and then just put it away, sometimes if there's any worn finish, that's where it's likely going to rust first. So what I do is if I know I'm not going to use that firearm for a while, I'll obviously clean it, but then do a light coat of gun oil. They make these cloths that are pre-soaked, and you just give it a light rubbing. It gets all your fingerprints off of there because the oils in your skin can cause that rust if it's not stored in the proper climate. So that's just another precaution that you can do. And then when you want to shoot it, if you want to just take a dry towel and wipe that light coat of gun oil off, there you go.
Yeah, I can't wait. I'm ready. Now it's a whole waiting game. Hurry up and wait, and can't wait till it gets here now.
I can because I have to help him move it.
Yep, payback.
Yeah. When I bought my first one, it's a 30 gun safe, and I can't remember the weight.
I don't know, it was heavy,
but it was heavy. But when I got it, I'm like, I have a truck, because that's where they get you is delivery and install.
Yeah, the delivery on mine was like almost the price of the safe. Just about. They're like, oh, we'll deliver it to the end of your driveway. And I was like, so I still got to bring it up to the house and put it where I want. It's like, I'll just put it in the back of the truck and bring it to my home myself and save that money. I was like, that's ridiculous.
Yeah, that's where you got to be careful when it says delivery. You have to make sure where that delivery is to, because a lot of them will just deliver it to the end of your driveway and that's it. And trying to get and most of the time they're delivered on a pallet. So trying to get that safe from the street to wherever you're going to put it in your house can be a huge pain. Because I had mine and they were able to put it in the back of the truck laid over. And so we just undid the pallet, no problem. But getting it off the back of my truck down onto the ground was real fun. And then the dolly I bought had air tires, which was not ideal because the tires went flat, and we only had to go up 2 stairs into, from the garage into the house, just 2 stairs. And we could not get it up because the tires kept going flat and it weighed too much. So we luckily got a large thick blanket, and I had hardwood floors in that room that was coming out of the garage. And so we just carefully laid it down, even though I still messed up the floor. But then once we laid it down, we pulled the blanket and kind of scooted it in, and then we were able to stand it up with a bunch of us, and then literally just pulled it into the office. Once we got it on the carpet, it was a lot easier to move around. But that was after that. I'm like, man, it would have been worth the $300 to have somebody do this.
Yeah, 300. I might have had them ship and deliver, but they said 500 for mine. I was that's crazy. No, thank you.
Yeah, I got mine from a place about 45 minutes away from here, and I'm like right outside outside the delivery area, but they did it for me. It's just a couple guys that work at that sporting goods store, and then they deliver safes on the side at night. So, and the cool thing is, I bought a second safe from them and had them deliver it to my old house, and they got it all set up and everything. And when I moved, I'm like, what am I going to do with these safes? Like, because we had a couple days before we got this house, so we were like, crap, what are we going to do with these safes? How are we going to move them? So I called these guys up, and they actually took both safes, kept them in their trailer for me for a couple of days, and then brought them back and set them up over here.
Yeah, that's very nice of them.
It was. I think that ended up being $400, but you really think about it, it's $200 a safe.
Yeah.
And they stored it for a couple of days for me.
Yeah. Can't beat it.
No, I'm like, and I mean, two giant dudes just manhandling this thing. They used a pallet jack to get them close to where they want it, and then they kind of manhandle it off into place, and then they level it for you. And you know, I had lights, LED lights I had bought for it. They installed the lights and everything for me.
Man.
Yeah. and you definitely want to make sure it's leveled if you can, so that way your door doesn't
free close and open.
Yeah. It stays constant. So it's
a
lot to it, but yeah, it's having a gun safe is just fun. And then I love trying to figure out how to set it up. It's like, how am I going to do this? It's fun. And then every now and then I'll go in there and I'm like, all right, let's reorganize this.
Change it up.
There's a couple of times I've gone in there and I'm like, I forgot I had this part. Like I forgot I had a Sharps rifle company bolt carrier group. So I'm like, I haven't used this. It's been sitting here wrapped up. I need to throw this in a rifle, or maybe build a rifle for it.
Probably a dangerous thing that if I do get it and then start going, oh, I got this now. Oh, I got this.
Yeah, because you know, with the ARs, you can buy parts as you need them.
Yep.
I bought a spare bolt carrier group and forgot about it.
That's always nice.
Yeah, it's like, oh yeah, because I mean the Sharps Rifle Company ones are, they're not cheap. I think it was like $200, but they're supposed to be really good. I have two of them now and haven't used a single one.
Oh, you're slacking over there.
I know. Well, I bought them because I heard the company was going under, but I don't know if
they ever did.
I don't know. So I'm like, well, crap. I want to get one, get a couple just in case. I got a black one with whatever that black finish is.
Black nitrate. Something
like that. I forget, it's whatever their proprietary name for it is, but they just look cool. And so, yeah, I need to throw those in a rifle.
So build a skeleton rifle.
Yeah.
There you go. Go lightweight and then go do 3-gun.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, just things to think about when you guys are looking for a safe. If you are, obviously, if you can't afford or have the room for a giant gun safe, they do make other options. There's safes that they make that go under your bed.
Yeah.
So if you have room for that, you know, long guns can go in there. They have the handgun safes that you could put like on your nightstand or anything like that too, or say under it, where you can put that biometric code thing.
Yeah, mine's got like a little RFD card I can swipe, and I got a key, or I could put in a code. So
yeah,
I just use the key.
Yeah, just something you definitely want to keep your gun, especially if you have kids.
Yeah,
not so much for me because we don't. It's just my wife and I. But someone like you that has kids, you definitely want to keep your guns locked up and secured.
Oh, yeah. I've got them all locked up, and then I got them. Pretty much, I separate my ammo from my guns just for that extra precaution, and they're somewhere where the kids can't even reach.
Right.
And if they can't pick it up because it's too heavy. So,
not gonna lie, I like having ammo everywhere. If you walk into this closet over here, I got my shotgun hung up above the door, and then I have a shelf in there with several different rounds of ammo. And then we have our guns throughout the house just in case.
Yeah. I wish I could do that, but no.
Yeah, if we do have kids, I'm obviously going to have to change that. But
yeah.
For the time being, it's nice.
Yeah.
Because you never know when, you could be home somewhere and somebody tries to break in. well, I don't want to be in the basement
Yeah.
and not get this like crap. If I'm in the basement, my gun safe's in the garage. You got to go all the way upstairs, get into it. So I like to have
A couple of guns
at
spread
least
out.
one on each level. So that way, yeah, if anything happens, you don't have that far to go. Because that's, but the likelihood of your house getting broken into while you are there is very slim. Most of the time it happens while you're gone at work or if you're out of town.
Yeah.
It could happen though.
Thank God for Ring doorbells and
Yep.
Ring security cameras and neighborhood alerts and all that now.
Yeah. Luckily, we live in a pretty safe neighborhood.
Yeah.
And like I said, I think I've said this on the podcast before, but there's been several times where I've accidentally left our garage doors open overnight. And I have rolling toolboxes full of tools right at the end of one door. And obviously, I have the gun safes in there too in the back, but nothing was missing.
Thank God.
I know. I walked out. And I'm like, oh my God, you got to be kidding me. But yeah, luckily, safe neighborhood, and we know all of our neighbors, so
Yeah.
everybody kind of keeps an eye out.
Yeah, I know. My neighbors, they're very. I didn't know how they like to keep an eye on people, and when I got the Charger, literally got off the tow truck and into the garage. Not even a week later, one of the guys down the street came up to me, like, "Hey, what did you put in your garage?" I go, "What are you talking about?" I was trying to play dumb. And he goes, "That old car, what type of car was it? Was it an old Dodge, Chrysler? What was it?" And I was like, "Oh, are you freaking joking? That car literally was off the tow truck and in the garage within like 5-10 minutes." I was like, "You guys are just a bunch of creepers sitting there looking outside your blinds." Vroom, vroom. Like, but at least I know the neighborhood's safe. Jeez.
Yeah. God. Yeah, you gotta love nosy neighbors.
Yeah. It's crazy.
Yep. That's one thing about the suburbs is you get those people that are watching every move you make.
Oh yeah.
And luckily, where I live, we don't have an HOA. You do.
I do, but I don't even really call it an HOA.
Yeah.
I think it's just you pay your money and it's so cheap. That's the only reason why we moved in there. It was dirt cheap because I did not want to live in an HOA, and then their bylaws are very, very lenient.
That's good.
And then I got to be vice president for like 4 years, so
Nice.
yeah, I got to do kind of what I wanted.
There you go. That's
So-
cool. What did you do other than buying the safe? Anything else in guns this week?
No, not this week. How about you?
I think I did one video. I finally got to do a gun. I had time to do a gun video. I did a video on the BX trigger for the Ruger 1022. It's just an upgraded trigger from Ruger, and so it's gives you a lighter trigger pull. So I did a video on that and got that updated. Gonna do some more videos. I have Kid Innovations does a lot of cool aftermarket upgrades for their 1022 rifles.
Yeah.
So they got a ton of stuff. I've installed some of their parts on some of my personal 1022 that I had, and I just love it. So I'm going to do reach out to them and see, and hopefully maybe they'll send me something. But if not, I'll buy it. But it's pretty cheap for what you get. But they have a lot of cool stuff to customize the 1022 platform rifles. I think one of them I'm going to do is the actual what is it, the spring that's in the
Charging handle?
the charging handle. They have different
Like grips or whatnot?
Yeah, they got different grips, but then they have different springs and different tensions. So I got that, and it comes with a kit, so I got to do a review on that. And then like an auto bolt release, there's an extended magazine release, and just a couple other things that they have. They have different things for triggers. The one I did, the Ruger BX trigger, is just a drop-in trigger from Ruger. Like you literally just have to take your old one out, stick this one in, fully assembled. But Kid has a couple of things where it's you have to take down the trigger, and may do that. But the BX trigger, if you're looking for a lighter trigger pull on your Ruger 1022, I highly recommend it if you can find it, because it's I don't know why Ruger doesn't just
Put it in the rifle.
put it in their regular rifle, because it's like, why not? But because that's how they make extra money.
Yeah.
But yeah, those have been I've been trying to get my hands on one of those for a couple years now.
Yeah.
But ever since COVID hit and everything went out of stock, I've been having a heck of a time trying to find one, and I finally found one. Unfortunately, it wasn't through my dealer program, so I had to pay retail for it, but definitely worth it. And I think it was like $50 $58, I think.
Yeah.
Which isn't terrible for
Trigger upgrade.
for a fully assembled trigger
Yeah.
drop in. So yeah, pretty cool. So I'm gonna be working on that here pretty soon. So keep if you guys follow us on YouTube, just keep a lookout. We'll be coming out with some cool rigger upgrade ideas for you. And, I have a whiteboard in my closet over here where I'm actually trying to write down video ideas so I don't forget. It's one thing using the notes in your phone,
But yeah,
but I don't always look at that. So that way, every time I go into this closet over here, I'm like, okay, I need to do this and this and this. And then when it's done, just cross it out and move on down the road. I do want to do a whole video series on the AR-15.
that'd be nice.
Just because there's obviously
There's
so much to
you
it.
can do to it.
I know I have one video recently where I did how to field strip it. I have a very old video on cleaning it. That video is terrible. That was back when I had no lighting, just did it from my apartment and just did it for fun.
Yeah.
Using a regular cheap camera, the audio just from that camera. So if you watch it, it's useful, but it's hard.
A little outdated.
Yeah, so I'm going to redo that one, redo that video, and then just kind of basically do a beginner's guide to the AR because there's so much to it.
There is.
Obviously, learning the platform, how they work, all the different components, parts. I wish YouTube still allowed us to do building videos. Yeah, because you used to be able to. That's how I learned a lot on.
That's how I built both of mine.
Yeah, is watching YouTube videos on how to build a lower receiver, how to build an upper receiver. You can't find those anymore. They took them down. But there is another platform I found, Rumble.
Yeah.
I think it was called, where it's like YouTube, but
Not what restricted like it is.
yeah, there's no restrictions. Obviously, you can't have anything sexual on there or illegal,
Yeah.
but as far as like doing anything with guns, they don't care. So it's more friendly. So I'm going to do anything that I can't do on YouTube or videos I can't get monetized on YouTube. I'm going to throw over there. And that way I can show how to assemble an AR-15 lower because a lot of people still do it. And it's kind of hard. I think you could probably Google search it and find it on other websites, but it's not
easier to have a video and then pause it and do it, and then I'm caught up, play, and then pause it and then go back and rewind.
Yeah, because the first few times you do it, you got to learn how to do it right. And because there's so many springs, detents. Yeah, they give you a bunch of springs. None of the parts are labeled. Yeah. So you're like, okay, what is this one for? So yeah, having that ability to watch a video and be like, okay, I need this one for here. But once you do it so many times, like I can do it in probably 15 minutes start to finish. Super easy, but I've done a lot. So, but I'm going to do what I can on the AR platform through YouTube. What I can't do, I might throw over on Rumble once I get that set up and get those videos out
I've
there.
noticed YouTube starting to take a frown to that, and like hunting videos now, people are starting to they can't show their hunting brigades anymore. It's like, come on. So I know a lot of people have been switching over to like other platforms so they can show their hunts and how you actually skin a deer, like useful information that people should know.
Yeah, that's what everybody goes to YouTube for is
how to do something.
Like I use it daily. I'm like, all right, how do I do this?
Yeah.
Last night I was doing a bunch of research on this Sony camera because I think I figured it out. But the last couple podcasts, I couldn't figure out the focus. Like it would only focus on like the boom arms, and I did not figure out why it wouldn't focus on us. Well, I watched an 1.5 hour long video on YouTube and figured it out. So just a couple of settings, but there's no manual that comes with these cameras or really anything anymore. So yeah, if you want to learn how to do something,
Google, YouTube.
if you Google it, it usually sends you to YouTube.
Yeah.
Yeah, it like literally anything you can think of.
Yeah, I know. I did
people
that.
Are doing videos on.
Did today for our key fobs for our cars because it said remote battery low, and I was like, oh crap, do I got to program it too?
Right.
So I ran, found out you didn't, thank God, but I had to go buy the battery, and I was like, how the hell do you even tear this thing apart?
Yeah.
And then a little bit YouTube video, 5 minutes, in and out. Okay. Simple as that now.
Yep. I've never changed brakes before on my truck. I've never had to change ball bearings or anything like rotors. I watched several different YouTube videos, and while I was doing it, I had those YouTube videos going. So it's YouTube makes it easy for you to learn new skills, but with them trying to limit stuff that they don't like, it sucks.
Also makes it hard.
Yeah. Yeah. So luckily there's that platform. It's not very popular right now, but
it probably will eventually grow even bigger with all this stuff going on.
Yeah. Yeah. Obviously there's a lot more, probably more gun videos over there than anything else. So when I do that, I'll let everybody know when we throw videos over there.
I wonder if you can post a link in the bottom if YouTube would allow you to do that.
I don't know why not, actually. Because it's not like it's a link to me selling anything.
Yeah, it's just another video link.
Yeah.
Like,
because I can't link, like if there's a gun or anything, I can't link that down in the description or refer you to it or anything like that, just because I'm not allowed to sell guns. So I own a gun business, if you don't know that, but I'm not allowed to sell anything gun related through YouTube. So
I bet you could put a link though to your other videos.
That's why I wear my shirt. Boomstick there. Just go there. But yeah, speaking of like gun stores, one cool thing, if you guys are looking for guns, there's a website or a company called Big Daddy Unlimited, and they're basically, it's a subscription service, so you have to subscribe. But once you do, you get really great pricing on anything firearms related. Like when COVID happened, my suppliers were out of stock of everything. So I got a subscription to Big Daddy Unlimited, and they actually had stuff I could not get. So, and because I'm a dealer, so I know what dealer prices are. Their prices on a lot of stuff are pretty dang close.
Yeah.
Obviously there's going to be a little bit of a markup, but they are much lower than you can find a lot of other places. Some things are higher, but for the most part, most of their things are reasonably priced, lower than you could. And that's what you get with that subscription service, because as a retailer like me, a lot of stuff, there's a minimum advertised price that I can list it for, but that doesn't apply to them since they're a subscription service, like a program. They don't have to go by those. So if you guys are looking for anything, check them out. It's cool. I'll post a link down below to their website. You can sign up. The first month is only 99 cents. And then check it out. If you guys want to just buy everything within that 1 month, that's cool. Cancel your subscription after that, or keep it going. It's $9.99 a month after that, just kind of reoccurring.
It's not too bad.
Yeah, and like I said, they have a lot more stuff than a lot of other places do. Like back, height of COVID, you couldn't find Glocks to save your life, and they actually had Glocks out. So I definitely use them for buying stuff as well. Bought some parts for some guns I can't find anywhere else. So pretty cool. Again, the link below will take you to the site, and just 99 cents. And if you like it, awesome. If not, then yeah. And then if you happen to live in the Johnson County, Kansas area, Boomstick Tactical can do your transfer.
Little plug there.
Yeah, my little plug there, since I'm not monetized yet. Yep. So we're working on getting monetized on YouTube, but God, they're taking forever.
Yeah.
So I got to come up with my own plugs. But yeah, I know we've been kind of sipping on this whiskey already, but what do we got here?
This is Jack Daniel's number 27. It's a maple wood finish. So instead of the traditional oak barrels that they do their whiskey in, it's actually maple wood barrels. So
that's cool. I don't know if the camera shows this, but this is a freaking sweet. Like, this box is heavy, and open it up, it's got this nice little
like holder for it.
Yeah, that's like the fanciest.
Yeah.
No wonder why it's so expensive. It's all
it's really smooth, but I think it's twice charcoaled, and it's maple wood barrels though.
Yeah,
but
so that's what it looks like.
I call it number 27. I was actually at the distillery when I bought this, because I was looking for the Frank Sinatra, but they didn't have any due to COVID. So I went with this, and it was pretty pricey even with a military discount, but I like it. It's really smooth. It's usually for special occasions. So I was like, we'll bring it over tonight, give it a shot. So
I like it. It's super smooth.
Yeah. It doesn't have, like, the single barrel has a little bit more of that. I don't know. I call it the burn afterwards. It's peppery burn. This one doesn't have it at all. I don't know if it's because of the maple barrels or what, but it is so smooth.
Yeah, and I have this Gentleman Jack over here, and this is definitely smoother than that Gentleman Jack. You get different flavors in the Gentleman Jack than you do this, but definitely good whiskey.
Yep.
Unfortunately, it's really expensive. So
Yeah. I was like, I'll bring it over tonight. I'll have a little try at it. So
that's one thing is it's been really hard to find a lot of good Jack Daniel's stuff because supply has been so low.
We can go to the distillery. I guess we'll go do another tour and
Right.
get whatever we want. But
yeah, I'd love to do that. But yeah, because I'm starting to get, obviously, in the whiskeys, like I said, we've talked about. And yeah, you can get the regular Jack Daniel's, but okay.
Yeah, anybody can get that.
Yeah, I'll mix it if I don't have Jim Beam. Like I had a bottle and I was mixing it with Sprite. But actually drinking it on the rocks, I don't want to drink regular Jack on the rocks. That's why I like this Gentleman Jack. It's good on the rocks, but there's a bunch of different ones out there. One on the shelf that you brought over that we did on the podcast, that single barrel
proof.
Yeah, you can't find that anymore.
Yeah.
Really, you can find regular Jack, occasionally this Gentleman Jack, and then Fire and Honey.
Yeah, sometimes I can find the rye, but they also have that apple. I've got that at the house, and it's really good. It's that green apple flavor whiskey, and then I've got the honey. I also have some of their old winter cider. Like, I don't know. I love Jack Daniel's. That's my go-to whiskey usually. So I've got a bunch of different Jack Daniel's at the house.
So I know Kat wanted you to work on clearing out your whiskey collection. Have you?
I've made quite a big dent because every time we do a podcast, I just bring it over here and we drink it. So now the bottles are getting smaller.
Yep.
But
the bottles are still there. They're just
not as much in them.
Not as much in them.
Yeah. So I think we'll just keep doing that. Until I start emptying them, and then once I start getting low, I'll start restocking, I guess.
Chris's liquor store.
Yeah, pretty much.
That's awesome. So you also, did she put you to work, or did you do it on yourself, cleaning out your garage? And
I did it myself. That was one of my goals for this year, is to get the garage cleaned so I can get my boat inside. So Monday, since it was gorgeous out, and then today, this last couple of days have been crappy.
Yeah.
But it was so nice. I just went out there at like probably 11:30 and just started cleaning. Went through and cleaned it up on the one side really well, and also the front of the charger. I used to have a big old workbench made out of a door that we had in San Diego. I ended up tearing it all down and organizing and going through and throwing away a bunch of stuff, and actually have a nice spot on my workbench now, so I can actually use it.
Nice.
Yeah.
You gotta be able to use your workbench.
Yeah, I just had too much stuff, like, because I was working on the BMW for so long. I just started throwing stuff everywhere, and I knew where it was at, but I went back and cleaned up, organized, and been doing that slowly. And
yeah, having an organized garage is nice.
Yeah, I went out there tonight because I actually had to get some tape for a test so I could tape things on the wall to cheat. But it was so nice just because I could just walk down either side of no problems, go straight to get what I wanted, go right back, and it was nice and clean. I was like, man, there's so much room in here now.
Yep. Yeah, because I run some of my business out of the garage, so I try and keep it as clean as possible, but it is so much work to keep it clean, especially like when it's nice out, you have the garage doors open, but then if you get the wind blowing in the right direction, all that
leaves
crap
and crap
blows
goes
in.
Yeah,
and of course, once you get into a project, you get all your tools out, and then you gotta put everything away. So it's a lot of work, but I do like obviously having a clean, organized garage.
Yeah, I still got a little bit of ways to go, but a lot of it's clean now. I just got to get some of the kids' stuff put back up because they like to put their stuff all by the door, by the golf clubs. I'm like, oh God, here we go. So I got to put all that stuff up, and then most of my tools are still organized. Like, I got my big chest full of all my tools, and I got a little roller chest now that if I'm working on the cars, I can just roll it around the garage and work on it, and it has my socket. I got a socket sets in there and everything I pretty much would need, and if I don't, I just go to the big toolbox in the back.
Yep.
So, but
yeah, it's nice because like even my wife knows where I keep everything organized. Everything has a spot for me, and that way, now if she needs something, she knows exactly where to go.
Yeah, like my toolbox, I got everything labeled. It's bad.
I'm not that like I label our storage totes so I know like which one's Christmas decorations, which one's Halloween. But as far as like labeling like drawers or anything like that, I don't go.
Oh, my drawers are like metric sockets, metric boxed in wrenches, pry bars. It's all, I know where everything's at. I got a pretty much a metric side on the left, and then everything on the right side standard, and then everything in the middle is like my big like wrenches and pliers, air tools.
You do a lot more in car stuff than I do, so you probably have a lot more wrenches and sockets than.
Yeah, it's bad. I was sitting there going through. Because I got my workbench, and above my workbench I got like a little fast track with tools on it, and I've got literally a full wrench set, metric and standard, with ratcheting wrenches, hammers, drill bits, and everything. And I was like, God dang. And I went over to my big chest, and I was like, I got 4 sets of wrenches in there too, because I got stubbies, long, extended, boxed in, ratchets. I was like, God, I got so many tools. And then the kids, I bought them a little Craftsman, like their first tool set, like 100 piece, and it's up above my workbench. So when they want to work on stuff, I have to bring that out. But
right.
Yeah, I got pretty much anything and everything to work.
Do they still have, I know when we were kids, those little finger skateboards were popular, and then you could obviously change out the wheels and all that stuff. Are they into that yet, or are they still too young?
I've got a couple. They're more into the Hot Wheels cars. Like Ryder, he's into car washes. So he's got a car wash and a monster truck car wash. And he's real big into that now, so he's always playing with them and getting them dirty. He's like, I got to go wash them. He'll just go run up stink, just put soap all over it. And I was like, oh, my God, dude, quit putting well, you don't need to wash those cars every day, every second. I was like, but they're into that. And then I got a couple of them that are out that I don't care about, fingerboards, but they play with them every once in a while. And I got to hide my remote control cars from them because I got a couple of old school ones.
Well, yeah, I loved remote control cars when I was a kid. So, yeah. You probably got a good one, too.
Yep.
Well, at least Ryder, if he gets a car when he grows up, he's going to keep it clean.
Well, that's the funny thing, right? Ryder's really clean and meticulous about things. He wants to put stuff away when he's done. Mason just gets everything out, and then he complains. Well, I'm like, go clean your room. It took him 4 days to clean his room. He just complained the entire time. I was like, dude, your brother's room. I go tell him to clean. He cleans it. I was like, if you just put things up as you go along, it wouldn't be dirty.
Right.
He doesn't understand that or comprehend it, or he just doesn't care.
Yeah, I grew up in a household where my mom was super, like, clean freak. Like, she was always dusting, vacuuming. Even when her friends were over, like, they'd be like, hey, Michelle, we're here to talk and hang out. Stop cleaning. So we always had chores, and I was always, I always had to keep my room clean. Anytime we got stuff out, we had to put it away. So I kind of grew up with that, and it just stuck with me. Now I'm the exact same way. And so, yeah, it's nice if you grow up that way. It kind of sticks with you.
Yeah.
I know my sister, she was a messier kid. When we were younger, her room was always a mess, but now, she likes a clean house. Of course, she's got kids, little young kids, so she, it's very hard to keep a clean house.
It's hard. Sometimes it gets frustrating coming home. You're like, oh my God, I know we just cleaned this house. Why is it like this? So I'll spend like an hour or so cleaning everything back up and like sweeping, and because for some reason Mason doesn't like to eat at the kitchen table. He wants to go sit on the stairs and eat, or take it to his room. I'm like, dude, no. Eat at the kitchen table. It's what it's for.
Right.
But
yeah, and so we have 2 dogs, and this sounds stupid, I know, to people that have kids especially, but so they have a lot of toys, and we keep them in a basket, and every time I pick them up, put them in that basket, they immediately go and drag them all over. So they drag them all over our living room, and when it's like that, it's like, God, this place looks like a mess. It looks, but then you just pick that stuff up, and it looks clean. Yeah. But God, as soon as you put something away, they want nothing to do with it while it's out. But then as soon as you put it away, it's like, oh, I wanted that.
Yeah, we've been going through, and I think we got a bag full of toys we're gonna donate. I'm like, why are we gonna get rid of these? I was like, cause you don't play with them. Let's give them to someone else so they can play with it. I was like, come on, you got enough toys. I was like, I could probably fill up like 4 of these, and you'd still have enough.
Yep. Yeah, I've gotten better. I used to just keep a lot of stuff. Like, I had a bunch of toys from when I was growing up, and just, stuff that you collect over the years, old guitars, stuff like that. I'm to the point now where it's like, have I used that in the last year or 2? If not, I probably don't need it. So I've been, especially when we got married, we had to come up with a bunch of money. So I was selling a bunch of stuff that we didn't need. But now it's like, man, yeah, it's like if there's a lot of stuff laying around and I don't use it, it's like, let's just get rid of it and put that money towards something else.
I think I got rid of like 6 or 7 bags of trash in the garage.
Jeez.
Just throwing stuff away. That, and then all those leaves kept coming back because it was so windy. So I'm sitting there blowing it out,
Yep.
and it comes right back. It's like, God, I just cleaned this area.
It's like, damn you neighbors, you need to be raking your freaking yards.
Yeah. Like, I know I bag mine and mulch it and bag it, and it just drives me nuts.
Yep. So another thing that we were talking about is actually your wife brought this up, that she wants to start her own podcast after their episode on Valentine's Day with us here. Now she's wanting to do her own podcast.
Yeah, that or get Marie to do it with her. So she's like, I want to do a podcast again. I was like, oh my God.
Did she just want to do like another episode, or does she actually want to start her own podcast?
I think both.
Yeah.
At this point, I think she just wants to do it.
Does she have like a direction that she wants to go, or know what she wants to talk about, or?
Yes and no.
Yeah.
Some of it is way out in left field that we don't talk about, but I know she will and gladly do it. But yeah, I think she just enjoyed it and wants to do more of it.
Yeah, it's kind of fun. When I first had the idea of it, I'm like, I don't know how that's gonna go, because I honestly I don't like talking too much, and I don't like being the center of attention. But it's when Hunter and I were, he's right next door, so we would always he'd like want to come over and hang out, and we always sit out in the garage because we could smoke cigars out there, and we got a TV and all that fun stuff. So we always are out there talking, and we're like, you know what? Why don't we just do a podcast of the stuff we talk about? Because everybody's doing a podcast now.
Oh, yeah.
It's like ever since, COVID hit, everybody's been stuck at home. So they've
got to find something to do.
Yeah. Even like a lot of celebrities have their own podcasts.
Yep.
Like everybody's doing it. And it's cool because like there's so many different topics that we talked about. Like ours main is obviously gun related because we're a gun channel. But, there's people that talk about literally everything.
Yeah. That, and I don't know. I think it's fun just sitting there. It's almost just like shooting the shit, but you're just recording it. And,
yep.
I mean, it's really
seeing
not
if
that
anybody
bad.
likes to listen to you talk.
Yeah.
So because a lot of people, you can relate to you end up relating to what people are talking about. And I know like there's certain YouTube channels that I'll watch, and I get into like their videos, and especially if they connect with the audience, and then it's like, man, I want to go back and watch all their stuff.
Yeah.
So
I do that a lot.
Yeah. Yeah. Especially ones that have, there's one I've been watching where I'm just trying to figure out the production side of YouTube and the podcast. Before I bought anything, I did a lot of research on, watched a lot of YouTube videos on, and one guy I like, Tom Buck, he just does something different. His background, like ours, I like the dark background, but his is very bright, and it's cool because he does reviews on, video and audio stuff. But then him and his wife have a podcast, and it's, I don't know, just kind of cool listening to that stuff. It's just something, because like if I'm sitting here working, I don't necessarily want to watch TV or have that on, because really during the day there's nothing good on. Yeah, so I'll just throw on a podcast, and it's
background noise.
Yeah, it's kind of nice.
That's what I do at work when I'm having to do a bunch of computer work. I'll sit there and just throw on like a YouTube like video in the background, sit there at work and just listen to them. And then if it's something cool, I'll pull it over real quick on my other screen, watch it as I'm still working.
Yeah. So if with Kat, does she want to do the audio only, or does she want to do like what we do, the video?
I think she wants to do a little bit of both, but she was talking, we were just going through it and ideas. And I was like, well, we can do it. Where do you want to do it at? Do you want to set up an office? Do you want to do it downstairs in the basement? She's like, well, I don't know. I was like, well, you need to figure this stuff out. Yeah. I was like, if you want to do this, we got to get lighting. I was like, we got to start messing with our cameras a little bit. And I was like, there's a lot that goes into it. It's just not record, talk, and that's it.
I mean, you can do that.
You can, but
I'm
more like you though. Like I'd rather just do it right the first time and have everything ready, and it's good.
I actually had somebody come over the other day that I think it did one transfer through us before, and then he did another one, and I watched a couple episodes of the podcast. He's like, man, I really love your lighting and just the audio sound.
Yeah.
And he said, a lot of people just record from their phones and stuff like that. It's like, yeah, when I knew I wanted to do this, I wanted to do it right the first time.
Yep.
And so there's a lot to it. Still learning it, obviously, but we're, again, YouTube, just there's gonna be a tutorial on everything. If there's anything like this audio mixer, the microphones, the cameras, like all that stuff, I learned from YouTubers, and it's kind of cool because then I'm going to do some reviews on. I've done a couple microphone reviews. I'm going to kind of do a review on everything that we use for anybody else that's looking for it. Just it's not really gun related, but still we do a podcast, so it's still related to the channel, kind of. So
a lot of information out there. Then it's just like, okay, how much do you want to spend? How much do you want to get going? What are you going to call it?
The expensive, especially the setup we have is not cheap.
Yeah.
But you can. The good thing about the iPhones now, the cameras, and that's what I started out on. And the camera this one that's on you is an iPhone, and unfortunately, the one that's on me, this is a webcam. I had to mess with the color settings before we started the podcast to get it to kind of match. And then this is a Sony camera, but if all you have is your phone, it works.
Yeah, they're great. I mean, that's one thing too, when I was doing a bunch of research, when all the iPhones, like I'm always watching the updated ones, like, okay, what's the difference between this? Is it worth it? Should I wait till the next one? Mm-hmm. And like once I think the 12 came out, I was like, okay, I got to get one.
Yeah.
So I made sure I got a 12 Pro Max.
Yeah, and it shoots in 4K.
Yeah.
It can do slow motion. It can do 4K, 60 frames a second, 30 frames a second, and then I think 24. Yeah. So you have different options. Again,
it's funny because I watched this one guy. He's a professional photographer, and he had the phone. He's like, this phone can do anything my $1,500 camera can do in editing. He's like, this camera's gonna ruin my business down the road. And he was showing like the comparison. He was taking lights and showing next to each other, like the difference between the iPhone and his camera, and there's really no difference.
No, and really the only reason I wanted to get the Sony camera is because it gives you that blurry background. I really wanted that. There's some apps that you can get on the phone that kind of does that, but not to the same degree. So I really got the Sony for the main camera, but it also I can do cool thumbnails with.
Yeah.
Because I can get that blurry background in the thumbnails. Again, I'm still trying to learn it. Spent an hour and a half watching a video on it last night.
A lot of editing videos.
Yeah. But I mean, if you get a cheap mic like the ones that we have been using, not these Rode ones, but the one we had been using, I mean, those are $70, and they're an XLR mic if you have an interface, but if you don't and want to plug it just into your computer and say, like what we started doing is plugging it into the computer and recording through GarageBand, you can do that. And then that way you have a microphone that gives you that dynamic podcast sound. Just record it, a video using your phone and audio through the computer. That's all you need. Lighting,
you can play with.
You can play with it. Do you really need lights? Just if you do it during the day and you have good lighting, just natural light through your windows, just use that. We record at night, so in the evening after work, so we needed some lights, and I like to have it for the YouTube stuff, but it's not necessary. So you can always, get started simple, and then as your budget allows, progress.
Yep.
Luckily, I have a business, so I was able to fund a lot of the stuff through the business, which is nice.
Yeah.
But not everybody can do that. So, you can just start out with your phone and a computer.
Yeah.
That's really all you need.
I've already got those.
Yeah. And then add stuff as it comes along. Like we've recently added this Stream Deck and are able to get the multi-camera angles.
Yeah, I've been also looking like on Facebook Marketplace. And I'm starting to see, like, I saw a Stream Deck on there for like $15. He used it once. He's like, I didn't like it.
Yep.
And I was like, huh. And I started looking for like lighting and things like that. And I was like, man, you can find anything and everything you want.
Yeah.
You don't have to go through Amazon and spend the money if you want. Just go on Marketplace and like offer up and see what people are wanting.
Yeah. Because you do, a lot of people doing podcasts, but not everybody sticks with it.
Yeah.
So then they have all this equipment that they use and they don't want to do it anymore. So they want to sell it.
And I think when I bought her camera, her Rebel, I bought it from a guy that was doing photography for class, and he just wanted to upgrade to the newest model. So he's like, give me this much money for it, and you can have it. And he gave me that and a bunch of like different lens filters for like UV light and everything. I was like, okay, cool. Like 3 extra batteries. And I was like, can't beat this.
Yeah. Yeah. And so if she's wanting to do, obviously video, she could start a YouTube channel.
Yeah.
If you want to do the audio platform, what I recommend, and this may be a bit of a plug again, but I love it, is because you have to find a way to get your podcast out there.
Yeah.
And there's so many different podcast platforms. Yes, you can take your audio file and upload it to every one individual, but every episode you come out with, you have to individually upload it to that, platform, put in your description, upload your artwork, and it's just a hassle. Whereas if you have a platform that does that for you, you just have to do it once and everything goes out. So what we use is Buzzsprout, buzzsprout.com, and it's awesome. They have a lot of resources. So, you can find, obviously it tells you tips and tricks to starting a podcast, where to get artwork, how to, design your own artwork, where to get royalty-free music that you can use for your podcast. That's how I kind of figure out how to do our intro. And then there's different subscription levels depending on how many hours you think you're going to upload per month. So if you're going to do maybe an episode or 2 per month, then you just need their lower plan. Or if you're going to do a bunch, you can get their higher one. Or if you end up going over, you can just, for like $3 extra, you get a whole hour to upload. But you basically have a landing page for your podcast, and that's where everything lives. So you just upload. Setting it up takes some time because you have to sign up for each, like Spotify, Amazon Music, and everything like that. But once you get your RRS feed out there, then every time you upload a video, it automatically goes to every platform. So once I got that set up, I was able to, every time we do a podcast, I get on Buzzsprout, upload it, the audio file, and it takes less than 5 minutes for the full processing. And it does, there's an option for magic mastering for the microphone, and that gives you, kind of goes through your audio and
cleans it up
a little bit, which is awesome. And so between that and uploading, it takes 5 minutes, and you put in your description. It saves your channel art. We just keep ours the same. Yeah. So that's already up there. And then if there's any monetization stuff, you can always add that in. And then you can either release it right then and it goes live, or you can schedule it. I usually schedule ours for 8 o'clock on Friday. And then once that goes live, bam, it sends it out to every platform. So Spotify, Amazon, all the other different, there's so many, it's hard to keep track of, but there's so many different ones. I've ran into our podcast on some other ones. I've never even heard of this platform, but if you Google your podcast, it brings up all these platforms. It's kind of cool. And so, yeah, it's a subscription every month, but if it's something that you're going to do for a while and want to get it out there, that's definitely the way to go.
Easy way.
Yeah. So if you guys, there's a link in the description down below to Buzzsprout. If you sign up, you get a $20 Amazon gift card. So that'll basically pay for the first month, depending on what plan you get. So, but definitely something to look into. It just makes it easier. Yeah, you could do it on YouTube, but YouTube, a lot of people don't listen to podcasts really on YouTube. That's not where they go there for, unless you have a channel with other stuff. And yeah, you have a podcast and they can find it there. But most people like to just,
listen on
go on Spotify and listen to it while they're working out or driving or whatever. So Buzzsprout allows you to get it out there a lot easier.
Yeah, I know. Kat's been listening to it on Spotify, and I think Joe's been listening to it on Spotify.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
So
yeah, Spotify is the main one, and it's free. I'm still waiting to get on iHeartRadio, Pandora, and Apple. You have to apply them separate, and they take forever to get back. Dang. So, but everywhere else is free. Spotify and Amazon Music is another big one. So luckily we got those, and that's where a lot of people listen to it, and it's awesome. And if you have to edit it, you just go in there and edit it, and everything lives on a homepage. It's kind of set up like a YouTube channel almost, and you can always edit stuff, or it's really cool.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know. I'm gonna start looking for everything and equipment again. I was like, oh gosh, here we go. I'm about to go down another rabbit hole I shouldn't go down. But.
Yep. And obviously, I talked about the Stream Deck that it allows us to get all these multiple angles.
Yeah.
But there's another program, Ecamm Live, which we're using to record this. I used to just record it from the one camera and then put that in the iMovie, take the audio from GarageBand, put that in there. But Ecamm Live, there's a free version and then there's a paid version. Free, you get the basics, but then you get a watermark that says Ecamm Live up there in the corner, which is okay. But if you get the paid version, there's so much you can do to it. So I don't know if you watch any of those live broadcasts where people do live shows and they have all this text and all this stuff show up.
Like live streaming and like Twitch almost.
So this basically does all that for you. So we're not live streaming right now. We're just doing a record only, which you can do a record only, and you can do all that fancy stuff too. But if you want to do a live stream, you hit live and say you want to go to YouTube. You just select YouTube. It'll upload it to your YouTube channel or Facebook or whatever. And you can obviously do multiple camera angles like we are doing here. And there's so much stuff you can do. You can do overlays if you want to show your desktop, or like a presentation, like a bunch of different stuff. If you have like somebody remote that calls in, you could pull up them on the video too. There's so much to it, which we'll eventually get to. So maybe I do want to get to the point to where we do a live podcast. I just have to learn all this stuff.
Yeah.
But the multiple camera angles are cool.
Yeah.
There's some other platforms like Squarespace. Does the same thing, but to get the multiple camera angles is a lot more difficult. This, you just plug your camera in, it recognizes it. You just select it, and as long as you have some sort of switcher, you can switch back and forth. So another plug, but check out Ecamm Live. You can do it for free. I'll post a link down below. But and it sounds like a lot of advertisement, but if you are looking into getting a podcast, I've done tons of research.
Everything you need to know.
So so that way you don't have to do it. I've done all the research. So it's just everything I've learned, and I've done all these courses and stuff, and there's a lot of cool tools out there that. Like, I've never heard of Ecamm Live or Buzzsprout until you do research. So
it's crazy what you find out once you start going down the rabbit holes. You're like, what about this? What about this? What about this? And it's like, oh man, now you got all these different platforms and ideas and editing tools and snowball effect real quick.
Yeah, it does. Yeah, and unfortunately, like I've said, I have a very addictive personality. So once I get my goal set on something, I go all in. Like with YouTube, I'm like, I'm going to revamp my channel and stuff like that. Well, and then I started buying all this equipment and doing all this research, and now we have a podcast, and here we are.
Yeah, it's crazy. I think we're kind of similar in that situation. Like we just research, and then, okay, I think I'm ready.
Yeah.
And then until you go up there face to face, you see something else, like, oh, I didn't see this. What's this?
Yeah.
Like, oh, crap.
Yeah, a lot of stuff I'm into, it's kind of expensive, so I want to do a lot of research, make sure I get what I want, and get what the best I can with my money, because there's nothing worse than buying something.
It'd be crap.
And then I'm like, crap, well, I have this, the money I've already spent on this, I want to upgrade, but it's like, crap.
And I
would have done it right just the first time.
Yep. Yeah, it's crazy. Money. It's just money, right?
So yeah, just tell Kat, use your cameras and
I've been
hit record,
messing with it, looking at cameras and all the inputs that we need for it, and I've been looking at also apps too. Like I've been looking at Final Cut Pro and editing apps. I got DaVinci Code, but I've never really played with it. But
one thing I will recommend, if you do, whether you do YouTube or just a podcast, get a high capacity SSD card.
Yeah,
because like we shoot all ours in 4K. And these hour-long video podcasts are like 20 plus gigabytes.
Jeez.
Or more. Just depends. And so that takes up a lot of room on your computer, especially if once you upload that to iMovie, because it stays in there too. So what I do is I take all of our raw clips from each camera and the audio only. I'll put that in a folder separately just in case anything that happens. I have that on an SSD card. Then I finalize everything in iMovie, get the final iMovie that I end up uploading to YouTube, but I'll also save that on the SSD card just in case too. So I have the raw material plus the edited stuff just in case anything like were to happen. But I bought a 1 terabyte SSD card, and it's 3/4 of the way full.
Jeez.
It's just the 4K 30 frames per second does take up a lot. Yeah. I could dumb it down to 24 frames per second, but I don't know. I like the 30. I just like to keep everything constant because that's what I have my phone on. So, yeah. And then, of course, then I have the audio file that I upload to Buzzsprout. So that's another however many
Jeez.
large of a file. So, but yeah, every podcast, I have a folder. Every YouTube video, I do have a folder with the raw and finished product. So definitely recommend that because I bought a 256 gig MacBook.
Yeah.
God, that fills up quick.
I bet.
I do a couple videos and it's like, holy crap, I'm almost.
Yeah, because I think on my iMac that I got, I use it a lot mostly for school, but I think I ended up just getting like a 64 gig jump drive, and I put everything on that. And I've got a terabyte on the iMac, but I was like, I don't want it to slow it down because I know once you start using up memory and things like that, it slows it down real bad. But I'll probably be getting external hard drives and stuff just for that.
Yeah, definitely. And luckily, they're cheaper now than they used to be for that much.
I mean, a terabyte, was like $300 back in the day, $400?
Oh, so much I wasn't able to get one.
Yeah.
The highest one I got growing up was 500 gigs. And that's when you had this big old freaking box that you had to plug in.
Yeah.
And
now a terabyte's like
the
like
one I have,
a floppy disk almost.
Yeah, the one I have is smaller, just smaller than a deck of cards.
Yeah.
And then it's super thin.
Yeah, because I bought one, I think, for my Xbox, and I was like, holy crap, I thought 2 terabytes was like a huge box, and I got it, and it's like, yeah, like a deck of cards pretty much. I was like, geez, what the heck? It's like $80.
Yeah. Remember floppy disks?
Yeah.
They had like very low amounts of megabytes.
Yeah.
Like, of course, the files back then on those computers that we were doing
were tiny.
Compared to what we have now. But yeah, just looking at the storage on those floppy disks, it's like, man, that wouldn't even
do like 5 seconds today.
No, yeah. So it's crazy. But yeah, 4K, shooting in 4K, if you do that, because your phone could shoot in 4K, it takes up a very large file.
Yeah, I know. I've been, research. Research and playing, I guess, is what it's going to come down to.
Yeah, and then you get a camera like what you have, and then it's like, well, you figure out there's all these different lenses that you can get for it too.
Yeah, because we've already got a bunch of different filters for it.
Yeah.
Because we got some for like night sights, we got UV light filtering and all these other filters and attachments. I'm like, oh God, this is going to be a nightmare.
Well, that's just attachments. Then you got the lenses.
I know, lenses can get pricey too.
I've been trying to learn about lenses. And there is so much to the photography.
Oh,
it's like the aperture,
if you want wide angle,
and that's what I like about this camera and the lens. I got the Sigma 16 millimeter 1.4 f. It's 1.4 f, but that's basically the aperture, and that's what gives you the blurry background.
Yeah.
The lower that number next to the f, the blurrier your background's going to be. So you having a lens that has that low aperture gives you that, but then you have the different millimeter size lenses, which I'm trying to figure out. I didn't realize, so 60 millimeter is a pretty wide shot, whereas if you go down to like 35, 50 millimeter, it kind of shrinks your shot. I've heard 50 millimeter is probably like the ideal.
Yeah, I think that's what we got with ours. It's like I think it's 15 to 55 millimeter lens with it. It's what came with it. And I know I was looking when I was getting into photography a little bit back in the day, I was looking at different lenses. I was just like, you want $400 for a lens that does 55 to 100?
Oh, that's nothing.
I know. They get up pretty quick. I was just like, geez.
A lot of the YouTube channels I watch have and there's different cameras. So there's a full frame camera, and then there's what this is, the APC. I forget the name, but it's not a full frame camera. So the millimeter difference is, so this is like 1.5 of whatever the full frame would be.
Yeah.
So what a 50 millimeter would be on this camera would actually be closer to a 75 millimeter on a full frame. So just making sure you get the right lens. Make sure you're not getting a full frame lens at 50 and then expect it to be 50 on your not full frame camera.
Yeah.
It's like trying to keep all this stuff straight. It's like almost need to take a freaking class and actually take notes and get tested on this so that way I retain it.
Yeah. Who would have thought, right?
And then there's this thing called ISO and white balance and
there's a bunch.
All this stuff. I'm like, what the hell? Luckily, this camera it's made for vlogging and beginners, so it has, like right now it's set on an auto program, to where it basically auto does your ISO and stuff like that and white balance. So I don't have to mess with that because I don't know what quite that means yet or how to get it set up. So I basically have this camera set up to where it's doing everything automatically for our settings.
Yeah.
But if you really know what all that stuff means, I mean, you can
go crazy.
Yeah. So learning about all that. But yeah, that's again more stuff to
learn and take time to do.
Yeah. But it's cool. It's obviously I love guns, but this is kind of another cool hobby is learn about the video and photography.
It's almost like optics on a gun.
Right.
You can go down that rabbit hole too. It's like, oh my gosh. Yeah.
So yeah, if you I've been trying to get you to start your YouTube channel.
I know. I've been
slacking.
Yeah, a little bit. Been doing it slow process.
Yep. Well, you got the GoPro. We've done some.
Yeah, I actually looked at the footage the other day when we went disc golfing. It was decent footage for the chest piece. I was actually shocked, but the audio in it, it was all muffled.
Gotcha.
So I don't know if we need mics for it or what, but like you could hardly hear anybody talking. Like it was so muffled.
Well, that's what sucks about like a lot of this video audio stuff is it gets outdated pretty quick.
Yeah, and I'm just like oh.
The GoPro I had back in the day was I think
top of the line,
the Hero 3 or something. It was top of the line, like 1080p, like all this stuff. Had a screen on the back, control it from your phone. Awesome. Now it's not worth anything.
Yeah,
because
I think I got the first GoPro Hero.
Yeah. Now we're at 10 is what they're at now, and there's so much the stabilization on those things are so much nicer.
Oh yeah,
and obviously they shoot in 4K. You don't even need that plastic case that goes around them. They're fully waterproof just the way they are, which is nice. But it's like, you do all this research on all this crazy stuff, and then it goes out of date. You're like, crap.
Yep.
It's top of the line when I spent all this money, and now it's like, damn.
Yeah, that's why I look up Facebook Marketplace.
Yeah,
see if I can find it. But still, they still sometimes, if it's the newer stuff, it still like holds its value.
Yeah, well, unfortunately, anything does it nowadays.
Yeah, true.
God, I've been looking for some reason because if you look at one car on Facebook Marketplace, I think that's all you're looking for. So now I just have all these trucks popping. I'm like, I don't want a truck. I just clicked on one, just cause.
Yep.
And God, just the price people are wanting for old beat up trucks. I'm like, what the hell, man? Back when I was a kid, that'd be $1,000 truck, and they're asking like $10,000 for it now.
It's like 10,000 is the new 1,000.
Like, what the hell?
I don't get it. I was like, what? Like all these old school BMWs you used to find for like under $1,000. Can't find one for under like 10.
Yeah.
I'm like, what the hell? I used to be able to buy that for like $2,000 all day long. Perfect. And now I got to spend 12. No.
Yeah. But that one thing that really drives me nuts is when you're doing research on something, like even YouTube or, especially Facebook Marketplace or anything, if you just search for one item and you're just looking at it, that's everything else is all related to that stuff.
Comes up in your feed. You're like, man, you're paying attention to me too much.
Yeah. It's like, I just looked at that once. It was cool. I just want to look at that picture. I want nothing to do with that now. Like YouTube, if I look up something on, something random. If I see this video of like a plane crash or like, those model airplanes that are really cool, it thinks that's all I want. It's like, no, I just saw this one video that I just happened to see. I don't want my whole feed to be about that.
Yeah. I was watching, I think this chick about pilot's license. I was like, and I've been watching this guy, he got an abandoned plane for free on there now. So now all I'm getting is bombarded with airplane stuff. And I'm like, I just watched a couple videos. I don't want to watch it all the time. I was like, I just thought they were cool and interesting.
Right.
Like, I'm flying to an air show or I'm flying cross country for my new house. I got this plane for free if I get the engine started. It's like, what the freak?
Yeah. That's the one bad thing. It's the IA is great
artificial intelligence.
Yeah.
AI.
Sorry. AI.
I was both confused right there. What?
That is nuts. And that's what drives the analytics in YouTube. Like if I throw out a video and depending on the time of day, if I throw it out in the morning on a Monday, say people are at work and they're not watching it. Well, the analytics are like, oh, well, it only got this many views in this amount of time. This is your worst performing video. They're not going to push that video out. And that's what sucks. It's like, okay, well, I posted at the wrong time. So you got to find the right time of day to do it. And then even if it's a video that's getting views, but it's not getting enough views on what it thinks, it's not going to push the video out.
Yeah, it's crazy.
And it's like, man, like YouTube's awesome, but their analytics thing sucks.
Yeah. Did you see that movie? I don't remember what it was. It was like, it was talking about artificial intelligence and like algorithms and all that. It was on Netflix. It was like a documentary. Man, it scared me.
Is this like something recently?
Yeah, it's probably within the last year or two. Because I remember I was taking a class and they talked about it too. And it was nuts. Just the algorithms, how the AI is in with it and how everything relates to each other. It gets you down to start thinking like, wow, this thing it pretty much becomes you.
Yeah. Yeah.
Or
maybe I did see that. Was it something where
had like Google people coming in, Facebook?
Oh no, maybe that's not what I saw. I saw one and there was like they do like some B-roll shots where it was like these little guys and they're controlling this guy's brain. They're like, oh well.
No, that was something else. But this one on Netflix, they like brought in people from like Google, Facebook, and stuff, and they were talking about it, and I was just like, what the like my mind was just like,
yeah,
it's scary.
Artificial intelligence driven, like, because I've been eligible to monetize for a few weeks now, and which is awesome, but it's like, all right, come on guys, let's you have to wait. It's all artificial intelligence and their algorithm until you get monetized. Then it's like, oh, we have to have an official, like an actual human look at this. It's like, God, how long is that going to take? An actual human has to look at my channel.
Well, it's crazy too. In this video or this Netflix documentary, they're talking about how it knows that you like someone because you follow them on Facebook, and it'll send them a like for you.
What?
And stuff like that. And I'm just like, that is creepy. Like, I would be flipped out. And like they talked about, the AI is so intelligent. They know what you like, what you don't like. And it'll send messages to certain people. And it'll know, like, if you're in a radius of them and everything. I was like,
jeez.
It's like, man, this is dangerous.
Yeah, social media is awesome, but it's getting to the point to where it's like
scary.
Getting a little too invasive. Like, God, it's like, all right. Yeah, I would literally be talking about something and then look at my phone, and all of a sudden an ad for that's popping up. It's like, I didn't look this up.
Yeah, I was just talking about it.
Yeah.
You're listening to me.
Yeah. It's like, oh, crap.
Yeah, it's scary.
That's where we're headed.
It's just going to get worse.
Oh, yeah.
Technology, though. It's great when we have it.
Yep. I know we're running a little long, but I did want to... I don't like talking politics on this thing, but I did want to bring up, obviously, the whole Ukraine-Russia thing. Why can't we just partner up with our allies and just send some Navy SEALs in there to take out Putin? Like, why can't we do that?
I don't know.
That would solve so many problems.
Or if we had a competent president, maybe it would be helpful.
Yeah. Even if it was, say, still Trump or whoever, I still don't think they'd go that route, but...
No, but he'd sit him down and talk to him like a fucking human being and not be a scaredy cat and hide between his legs.
Well, Putin, and every movie you see about Russia, they're all about Mother Russia, which it's actually a thing, and it's the biggest landmass of anybody. Like, it spreads several continents. It's like, all right, they want Ukraine back because it's their land. It's like, dude, Ukraine or Russia already has this giant landmass. What the hell do you need this little
country for?
Yeah, and unfortunately, with the way politics are going, authority. I don't know.
Authority,
yeah, whatever that is versus diplomacy. Diplomacy. Yeah. God, I cannot freaking speak today. But that's becoming more of a thing versus there's so many.
I don't know. I'm kind of scared where we're going as a country. Like, I've been reading a bunch about how we're decomming a bunch of our naval ships, and China's is growing, and that terrifies me because we're supposed to be the powerhouse, naval presence. Don't mess with us. But if we're decomming everything, and we're not coming out with anything,
Right.
What are we doing?
Right. And
They're
then
setting up for us to get bombarded.
Yeah, I think we are, especially like our missile system and everything right now is.
It's good, but
if there's any war between us and another country, it's gonna end quickly because it's not gonna be troop to troop. It's gonna be
it's gonna be missiles and nuke.
Well, and the thing nowadays is cyber attacks.
Yeah,
it's like the comment I made about taking out Putin. Hopefully, Russian hackers don't hack into my account now. If the artificial intelligence is listening, they're probably like, "Oh, hey, red flag over there in Russia. Oh, we gotta hack into. I'm gonna have to change all my freaking passwords now."
Yeah, it's I don't know. It's crazy.
But yeah, I just it's like, why can't we just because we went in there and killed Saddam Hussein. We ended up going in there and killing Hitler, obviously after the war. But it's like, why can't we just? Obviously, this guy's a problem. Just let's freaking take him out.
Yeah, it's kind of crazy.
I mean, is it ethical? I don't know, but it might save a lot of people from getting killed in Ukraine. And who knows what will happen down the road.
I'm shocked that the countries over there are allowing it to happen.
Well, I didn't know Putin. I don't know much about Putin, but I didn't know he was in the KGB.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm like, damn. So he might be a little bit of a badass. He's a short little guy, but still. It's like,
I don't know. I think.
How did he get into power?
I don't even know. I'd have to go look it up.
Yeah, because I don't follow politics too often, but I don't remember. Ever since I remember following him, he's all I remember being in charge of Russia. I don't. Was there somebody in charge before him? I'm sure there was, but I can't tell you who it was or how he got into power. Crazy, but yeah, it's like, and he can't be voted out because there is no.
Not unless someone takes him out.
Yeah, so let's take him out. Let's just freaking take that guy out.
I don't think they will, man. You don't want a war between them. They got just as many nukes as we do.
Well, that's why we just take him out, and they're like, oh well, who's in charge now? We take out all the top guys, and then we
start fresh.
Yeah, exactly. But so with our little little mess up with the video, I don't know how long we've been going, but we got 2 different times here, and it's definitely over an hour. So so probably wrap this up for this week. But yeah, we appreciate you guys watching, and again, if you're watching on YouTube, hit that like and subscribe button so you're notified when we come out with these videos and other content, and hit that follow button if you're watching us on or listening to us on Spotify or any of those other platforms. So thanks for watching and tuning into us this week. We will be back next week, hopefully with Hunter with us, and
hopefully
yep. So again, thanks for watching, guys. We'll see you next week.
Have a good one.